Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with random reviews from the Overflow room. If I can get my hands on this thing. Yeah, there we go. And we're still working through Sibelius. We're almost done. We only have one more video after this, you'll be pleased to know. And here's today's pile. Some interesting goodies here. We always have interesting goodies, don't we? That's why I hang on to all this stuff endlessly. First, some really nifty historical things on the Pearl label, which I don't think exists any longer. It's Koussevitzky's Sibelius recordings. You've got Symphonies 2 and 5 and 7, Pocula's Daughter, Swan White, one little bit of it, and Tapiola. It's on 2 discs, that's all it is. Oh, it's, yeah, Symphonies 2, 5, 7, yeah, I got it all. With the Boston Symphony Orchestra and the BBC Symphony Orchestra only for the 7th Symphony. Now, these are transfers by Mark Oberthorn. They're very well done. The sound is somewhat grotty. The recordings date from, like, the dawn of time. Does it say? I don't know what this says. Let's see. Did they say on the back? No, they don't say on the back, and I don't really feel like checking any further. Here's the point. Koussevitzky was a splendid Sibelius conductor. Some of these performances are very good. Some of them are a little iffy. The problem is that they all sound rather dim, and the truth is there have been so many great Sibelius recordings since then. These are of, in my view, historical interest only, primarily. You're not going to play these as your choice versions of any of these works. Some people will. I know they will, but that's them. I don't do that, but I hang on to it anyway. Then we've got Beecham in the London Philharmonic doing Sibelius 4th, which he promoted really very strongly on Saga. Oh, what's the point of listening to this if you can't hear the bass drum? I mean, really. Lemminkainen's Return, which he did 1,000,000 times. The Bard, well, that's fun. The Festivo from Sen Historique, Finlandia, and the 4th Symphony, which was recorded in 1937. These are recorded 37 through, it looks like 39, and in, typically grungy sound. But Beecham promoted this music relentlessly and was a very persuasive advocate. And, if you can tolerate the sonics, that's on Naxos Historical, then go for it. Then we've got, most of the other orchestra for violin and little tiny chamber group. Let's see, we have Pekka Kuusisto as violin and conductor with the Tapiola Sinfonietta, the 6 Humoresques, the 2 Serenades, the Suite Opus 117, and Swan White, the orchestral suite. It's a lovely disc, the Sibelius violin things. We've got to seen a few of those so far in this series, haven't we? Because Biss has them and Ondine has them there, so there you go. And then we have Sibelius, the complete works for violin and orchestra, with Christian Tetzlaff and Thomas Dalsgaard with the Danish National Symphony Orchestra on Virgin Classics. Very fine performances, very fine. And you've got, all this stuff, which we just talked about, plus the violin concerto. So we don't need to go into that anymore. Sibelius, violin concerto. Oh, yeah. So much of this stuff. With Henning Kraggerud. Oh, he's a wonderful violinist. I remember enjoying this. With the Bournemouth Symphony and Bjarte Engeset. The violin concerto, the Serenade in G minor, one movement from it, and Christian Sinding's first violin concerto, which is lovely. Sinding's a good, solid, romantic, sort of, not horribly original, but enjoyable composer. And his Romance in D major, which is very pretty. It's 10 minutes long. I kept this mostly for the Sinding, but it's really a nice disc. Sibelius on Lynn. Peleus and Melisande, Koalima, Belshazzar's Feast, The Tempest, Suite No. 2 on Dante Festivo. Who's conducting and playing? Did they tell us? No, they don't. Yes, Joseph Swenson, conductor. Yeah, these are nice and very well recorded, and, they're worth hanging on to. I mean, I hang on to everything, but those are worth hanging on to. So this is the Sibelius 2-disc tone poem thing with Gibson, of which I have like 300 copies of this, because it's so great that I just feel I have to have it. You get... You ready? I feel like we're doing Granger, Molly in the Strand, or Handel on the Shore, or Handel on the Strand and Molly on the Shore, Shepherds, hey! And I remember that. Here we go. Ansaga, Luonatar, Finlandia, Spring Song, The Bard, The Dryad, Paul Hela's Daughter, Night Ride and Sunrise, The Oceanides, and Tapiola. And he gets through Tapiola in less than 16 minutes, and it sounds great. But the most wonderful thing on here is Luonatar, which I've talked about a billion times with Phyllis Brynjolfsson, who sings it better than anyone ever has in the history of humanity. It's great. The sonics are great. This was an earlier recording. It's not digital, but it sounds fabulous. And Gibson, like I said, was just a great Sibelius conductor. And yeah, these are wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. You should get that set, or at least download it or do something if you can. Is this more Beecham? No, Herbert von Karajan. Ansago, the Swan of Twinella, the Karelia Suite, Finlandia, Valstrist, and Tapiola. These are really good. I mean, Karajan was always a really good Sibelius conductor, but his Tapiola was always terrifying, and the Finlandia is just a scorcher, and so I keep it for that alone. But he really lets these guys go, which is so unusual for him. Then we've got Sibelius cantatas. Yeah, how many of those do you hear? With the Estonian National Symphony Orchestra and the Estonian National Male Choir and the Ellerheim Girls Choir. I don't even need to go through these. We've talked about these little cantata thingies that he's done a zillion times, and you get the Finlandia with the choral version of it. Sibelius's, they're occasional works, and they're charming, and they're mostly very short, and sometimes they get kind of nifty. Then we've got, Jussi Jalas. This is the Tempest Suites 1 and 2, Koalima, King Christian 2, Scène Historique numbers 1 and 2, Scaramouche, the Suite, and the Swan White Suite. These are all with the Hungarian State Symphony Orchestra under Sibelius's son-in-law, the conductor Jussi Jalas. Now, the problem with these, for a long time, these were the only ways to get this music. I mean, really, this music was not recorded as frequently as it has been since. And Jalas's recordings really filled a needed gap in our collections. But the sonics were always very dry and kind of woody, and the orchestra's not great, and Jalas was okay. The fact that he was Sibelius' son-in-law must have counted for something, but it didn't guarantee fabulous performances. But beggars couldn't be choosers. So we got this, and some of us still got it, Symphony number 2, Karelia Suite, New Zealand Symphony Orchestra, Pietari Inkinen. Well, like many young Finnish conductors doing Sibelius, first of all, I wonder if they really want to, number one, because a lot of them don't seem to have much feeling for it. And second of all, when they do have some feeling for it, they're usually much better in the later neoclassical works from the Third Symphony on, and they're not as persuasive in the earlier Tchaikovskyan, romantic, sweaty, heavy, passionate, sort of extrovert pieces, such as the Second Symphony. It's not bad. It's really not bad. The Karelia Suite's lovely, but there are better ones. I mean, it's good, solid conducting, and it's okay. And then we've got, what's this? Paavo Berglund. We've done so many Paavo Berglunds. How many of these must I have? This is the one that has the original Kullervo, the first ever recording of the complete Kullervo symphony, or Kullervo tone poem, or just plain Kullervo, whatever you want to call it. And it's absolutely wonderful, wonderful and terrific with the Bournemouth Symphony. And then there's just a bunch of other goodies. The Oceanides, 2 movements only from the Karelia Suite, the Scène Historique Suite number 1, Tapiola, Finlandia, and the 2 serenades with Ida Handel, which show up on zillions of other Berglund collections. And now there's a big Berglund box, which is going to have all this stuff in it. So, I probably don't need to hang on to that, but I did. Oh, I love this. This is an extra copy of this because it's out of print naturally. The Lemminkainen Legends in Ansaga with Esa-Pekka Salonen. This is hot stuff, and it has the most amazing, and I mean amazing, bass drum in Ansaga. It will knock your speakers to smithereens. Trust me, it's just fabulously exciting. Wonderful performances with the Los Angeles Philharmonic on Sony. Sibelius, Scène Historiques 1 and 2, and Ansaga with Nimi Järvi. This has the second greatest bass drum you've ever heard in your life in Ansaga. Maybe even better than the other one. I don't know. It's a tough competition, but boy, is this powerful and exciting stuff. And the other two, the Scène Historique performances are fabulous. This is one of the best things that Järvi did in his Sibelius cycle for Bis. Really, really good stuff. And then we've got, the Lemminkainen Legends, also with Järvi. I wish this was the one included in the box of Sibelius, the big Sibelius edition, because, Lati and Venska, as I pointed out, did it twice, because the first time didn't come out too well. Then they remade it, but when they made the complete edition, the first one that didn't come out too well, that's the one that's in the edition. But they had this one, and this one is fantastic. It's better recorded than any of the others, and it has some really interesting tempos and ideas, very slow tempos for Lemminkainen and the Maidens of Sari, the Maidens of the Island. Sari means island, Someone very pedantically said, well, you really ought to call it the Island and not Sari, because it's called the Maidens of Sari, and it's the Maidens of the Island. Who cares? But yeah, that's really, really terrific. And Lemminkainen in Tuonela is also very, very graphic and slow and mysterious, with huge bass drum rolls. And it's just wonderful. This should have been in the complete edition, not Lati and Venska. Sorry. And then we've got, sorry, there we are. And then we've got the complete score to the Karelia music, which is kind of interesting. The suite is really much better. But this has the vocal bits and the complete Kuolema, the incidental music, which was refashioned into, among other things, the scene with cranes and the Valse Triste, all of that stuff. And I keep these because they are, complete. And I was really honored and excited when BIS decided to do, the note complete works of Sibelius. And so I feel it's my obligation to hang on to them, even though not every note is strictly necessary. I mean, just between us, right? So keep on listening, friends. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care.